And now we've got another fight which a lot of people are really excited to see, Mudaerji Sue versus Manel Kape. I believe these guys are both top 15 in the flyweight division in the UFC, and for good reason. Both guys are pretty good, but Sue Mudaerji really has not fought the level of competition that Manel Kape has in the UFC. A win over Zaruk Adeshev, Malcolm Gordon, and Andrei Sukumtar really, to me, doesn't match a win over Zalga Sumagulov, Ode Osborne, a split decision loss to Matheus Nicolau where a lot of people disagree with the decision, and then a decision loss to Alejandro Pantoja in his UFC debut, which again some people disagree with the decision, but I do think Pantoja won that fight. But I do think there's an argument to be made for Kape to win the fight over Matheus Nicolau. But moving on from that, man, I feel like Manel Kape has got really good power in the hands. He did time a really good flying knee to knock out Ode Osborne. I feel like maybe when the UFC was throwing him in there in the UFC at the start, they were maybe throwing him a little bit too deep for the UFC debut, but now he's kind of settled a little bit more. He's got a couple of wins on his record, and now he's kind of building up, and he really is a very good prospect to watch in the flyweight division, in my opinion. Him and Mohamed Mokaev are really exciting fighters to watch. But I think Sue Mudaerji is pretty good too. But one thing that is very worth noting, I think, is that he actually got signed to the UFC off a loss to Halban Ma. He got signed off a loss. He got submitted there, and then he got submitted in his debut. Very much worth noting that all four of Sue Mudaerji's losses have come by submission. All four of them. And Manel Kape does happen to have 5 submission wins on his record, so potentially we could be seeing a Manel Kape submission on this one here, but he really hasn't submitted anyone in a very, very long time. But I feel like maybe Sue Mudaerji could be that guy, but I'm picking Manel Kape. I actually do think he's going to get the job done inside the distance. I know the MMA Guru did pick Manel Kape to win a decision. I'm going to be going Manel Kape inside the distance just in general, because I do feel like there's a potential for a submission here. I think Manel Kape might hurt Sue Mudaerji in the feet, but instead of knocking him out and maybe finishing him off with ground and pound, maybe he shoots for a submission and gets like a guillotine or a rear naked choke or something like that over Sue Mudaerji. I'll go Manel Kape, just inside the distance personally by KO or submission in this one here. I think that he's a pretty confident pick. He's a very good prospect, and I feel like potentially, like with a win here, I feel like we might see him like call out Matheus Nicolau for a rematch or something. I feel like that would be a pretty cool call out. Or maybe he just calls up the division, because I feel like Manel Kape really does have a run in him here. I think he lands with a lot of power. I feel like he does land with more power than Sue Mudaerji is used to. Like Malcolm Gordon, I don't think is a very powerful striker. Zaruk Adeshev is actually a pretty good striker himself, but he was 3-2 in MMA. I mean, I don't really know how that managed to get Sue Mudaerji staying in the top 15. So I'm just really going to be going with Manel Kape here, but this kind of really does kind of show, notice the pick to Sue Mudaerji because he is a very good fighter. It kind of does show that if a win over Zaruk Adeshev, Malcolm Gordon, and Andrei Sukumtar is enough to get you into the top 15, I really can't wait for the UFC to sign more flyweight fighters. That's what Dana White's Contender Series 22 is for. They're going to be signing so many flyweight fighters. I'm predicting so many flyweight fights on that series, man. I really cannot wait for it. Anyway, moving on.